That wonderful journey when the wheels turn and the rails shine. Tomorrow, Lady would work again. And I shut out tomorrow.
Don't shut out today, too.
So, Burnett, you didn't forget about magic. It's safe inside you. You found her, and she's beautiful!
What defines an overlooked character? People who could have been amazing and had a lot of potential just to be underused. Thomas and Friends has many characters that haven't been used to their fullest or even slowly swiped under the rug. However, there was one engine who was chucked into the scrap heap shortly after their first appearance. When I saw Thomas and the Magic Railroad, I was ecstatic. The show I've grown up on had movies, so my family got the DVDs and I was blown away. Obviously, younger me had no clue about, the public reception the film had got, to the point where someone even made this weird logo design. I mean, I gotta admit, it is funny, but still. Even now, I still don't really, care about the public reception of this film. I love Thomas and the Magic Railroad despite all of its flaws and hopefully accidental implications, but I doubt it. But either way, we will get into that at a much later point in the video. Seeing this mysterious engine locked away and eventually having this grand reveal was astonishing for a 7-year-old. Lady's whole design stood out to me compared to everyone else's. She was one of the toys that I wish I had gotten, whether it be play rail, diecast, Ertl. I wanted it all, and growing up I didn't have such luxuries. But with that all being said, let's start the retrospective. Lady had cycled through several designs during Thomas and the Magic Railroad's production. Lady is a small Victorian-style tank engine, which is a freelance design. This freelance design actually bears a resemblance to the Fletcher & Jennings Class B. One of Lady's concept art images depicts her as a 222 resembling Gazelle and Dodman & Co. 04 TWT locomotive from the Shropshire and Montgomeryshire Railway. David Eves originally intended Lady to be based on the Great Western Railway 3031 class. However, Britt Allcroft wanted her to be a small engine, which led to her final design. Lady's life-size model differs in proportions compared to her Gauge 1 model. The life-size model is longer and shorter in height. Lady is also the only character who has a complete life-size prop. While Thomas, James and Diesel 10 had life-size props for the film, they were only for similes and not actual complete props. This life-size prop is also the largest prop ever built specifically for the franchise. Lady's first appearance was in the Thomas and the Magic Railroad film.
Yeah, no Sherlock!
Although her second appearance was shortly after in the Thomas and the Magic Railroad graphic novel, released in Japan in 2000. It is based on the film and was written and illustrated by Tatsuyoshi Kobayashi. The book has remained out of print since 2000. However, her final appearance was in the Thomas Deluxe Colouring and Activity book from 2014. She has not made an appearance since. I'm not going to get too in-depth with the movie's entire plot, so if you want something like that, I'd recommend the Unlucky Tugs video. They go really in-depth with it and is overall a really good video, so if you haven't seen it already, I'll leave it down in the description. But with that being said, released in cinemas on 14th of July 2000 in the United Kingdom and Ireland, and on the 26th of July 2000 in the United States and Canada. Thomas and the Magic Railroad release coincided with the 55th anniversary of the Railway series by the Reverend W. Awdry. Thomas and the Magic Railroad was poorly received by critics upon its initial release, with criticism of the acting, plot, special effects, and lack of fidelity to its source material, with several critics pointing out the uneven connection to Shining Time Station, with many stating that it never actually aired in the UK, which is true. Grossing $19.7 million worldwide on its production on a budget of $19 million, the film was a box office bomb. A sequel was originally conceived by Destination Films, but not Britt Allcroft. This was revealed on the 1st of July 2000, though it was very quietly cancelled, likely due to the film's financial failure. Thomas and the Magic Railroad was released onto VHS and DVD on 19th of October 2000 in the United Kingdom and Ireland by Icon Home Entertainment, with the distribution through Warner Home Video. The DVD was re-released in the UK in July 2007 by Icon themselves. The film was released on VHS and DVD in the United States on the 31st of October 2000 by Columbia TriStar Home Video, of which it sold well and remained in print for many years, being a frequent sight at Toys R Us outlets. In 2007, it was re-released on DVD as a double feature with The Adventures of Elmo in Grouchland. In 2009, it was re-released as part of a free DVD box set entitled Family Favorites Movie Collection, which also features The Adventures of Milo and Otis and The Bear. No, not that one, this one, Jesus. Now that we've talked about a lot of the history of the film, I think it is about time that we get into the real reason I'm making this video, and that is Lady. Lady isn't seen much on screen in Thomas and the Magic Railroad or even Calling All Engines, but when she's on screen she's always kind and compassionate. To me, Lady is similar to Emily in terms of their personality. They always see the good in people and do the best they can do to ensure that they're able to help the person in need. Her cameo appearance in Calling All Engines was short, with her only saying,
"We always finish our jobs when we work together."
But even then, this further backs up the fact that she's seen as a kind-hearted engine. But there's always a question that lingered in my mind about Lady. And that's why. Why was she made? It's clear that Britt had a vision with Lady, but with all of the changes that were made to the Magic Railroad, it's made it a bit hard to see what, but I think I'm going to be able to answer that question. In 1994, before the launch of the fourth installment of the Thomas and Friends series, Britt Allcroft had plans to make a feature film based on both Shining Time and Thomas and Friends. She said she wanted to make use of the model trains from Thomas and a live-action aesthetic of Shining Time Station. The original movie pitch was to have a circus train coming to Shining Time Station. This would then lead to Mr. Conductor being captured by the evil ringmaster. Seriously, I'm not joking, there is literally a whole section in the Thomas Wiki about this. This would then lead to the crew of Shining Time and Thomas and Friends to go after him, which eventually leads to them saving the day. However, the film wasn't able to be made. Eventually, after a lot of production issues, a script was written for Thomas and the Magic Railroad in around 1998 or 1999. Britt Allcroft said that the finished film was drastically different from the version she had written, with several scenes, plot elements, and characters being cut from the final film. A little fun fact, but Lady was originally not going to speak. Her only ways of communicating would have been through telepathy with Thomas on Muffle Mountain and her whistle, but she was later given a speaking role in order to smooth over cuts to the final film. Now, with all that in mind, can you guess why Lady was made? Yeah, that whole circus thing is kind of confusing, but here's what I thought about all of it. Britt wanted a way to bring her other show into the UK by using Thomas as a way to do so. However, she couldn't fully get the idea she wanted out there, so she made Magic Railroad to try and do it. She created Lady as the key to merging the two worlds into one. She wanted to show the world that both shows were something she was proud of. She wanted people to see these shows, to enjoy them, to love them. However, due to many changes in the script and production, her original vision was lost. The reason Lady was made was so that Britt could merge the two things she loved, but with that being answered, we still have one topic I've left unanswered. Did Brit intentionally make herself a god in universe? After the research I did, I think I can answer that. And the answer is yes. And no. Do I think Brit intended for Lady to be a god? In a way, yes. Lady was the key to merging both the worlds into one, and there wasn't much of an easy way to do it, so I think Brit relied on Lady as a way to do it. But do I think Brit intentionally made herself a god in universe? No, probably not. As mentioned before, Lady wasn't going to have a voice, meaning that Brit went into this wanting a way to put two of her passion projects into one. It didn't end too well, and sadly because of that, Lady wasn't mentioned again. She was completely forgotten about, not even seen in the next series after the Magic Railroad's release. The last time we actually saw her on screen was in Calling All Engines. Even then it was only in a dream, but in this dream we still see the kindness of Lady, which is why I think that Lady could have been brought back without a shadow of a doubt. So where do we go from here? It's about 11 minutes and 16 seconds into the video. Unlike most retrospectives, there isn't all too much to talk about. Unlike D10 Studios, I don't have too much of my favourite character to work with. So what I want to do is try and rework Lady into Thomas without causing many issues. Rather than it being about a magic railway, why not have the movie focus on one of the things that isn't highly mentioned? The repairs. There are constant repairs going on in Thomas and the Magic Railroad. The sheds are being repaired with the scaffolding around it. The Sir Topham Hatt propaganda being like, we want you to help fix our railway. Why not have that be the film's premise? Have the engines all working hard, working with each other to help fix the railway. Sir Topham Hatt can either stay or still go on holiday. If he stays, then the plot is going to be the same, but if he leaves, why not have the Fin Controller be the one in charge rather than Mr. Conductor? And then have the Fin Controller bring in new engines, which would be Diesel 10, Spatter, Dodge, and Lady. You can have Diesel 10 be a menace to the steam engines while also keeping the fun elements like he had in Magic Railroad, because I love that about Diesel 10. He was a terrifying villain when you needed him to be terrifying, but also someone you could have a laugh at. For Splatter and Dodge, you could do a little mischief, but overall have them working well. Have them depart Diesel 10 early, or have them not even be associated with him at all, so then that way they can still have fun interactions with the group, and then they can also stay to be in the show. For Lady, you're going to have her working hard and motivating all the others, being that nice, kind, and like really loving character, the one that's always looking out for other people. She doesn't even need to be magic either for that. She can come from Muffle Mountain or Shining Time and reference it. She can be on lease with Sodor before deciding to stay. Have the entire film be everyone working, obviously stay a decent amount with Thomas because it's a Thomas movie. But then eventually towards the end we can have her to try and get Diesel 10 to work a little harder, to try and motivate him like she would with everyone else. But then have him think that she's just pestering him, and then that starts a chase with just those two, because he's sick and tired of all these steam engines bossing him around, so he's gonna finally, do something about it. Have Lady then speed past Thomas and have him join in. Like in Diesel's Means Trouble by D10 Studios, have Thomas help push Lady further ahead.
Time to say goodbye, little lost engine.
No!
What?
That way Thomas is still the hero of the film. Now with the chase, it could either end two ways. It could either end like how it does in the Magic Railroad with the viaduct, or you can have Diesel 10 derail due to repairs being needed on the tracks. The two steam engines will either way get away and inform the Fin Controller or the Fat Controller. Diesel 10 would then eventually get put back onto the rails with a firm punishment of being sent back to the mainland. That is pretty much it for my Magic Railroad rework. I don't know what else I could add to it. If this has already been done, please let me know in the comments down below, because I do not think that I have come up with something truly original. I know for a fact someone out there has probably already done this, so if someone has, please let me know, and if you can, like, link the video. I would love to see more Lady online and people talking about her, because in terms of her design, it is amazing. I also, one thing I want to add before I end this video is the sound design in the Magic Railroad was amazing. In terms of the wheels moving and sort of clanking in a way, it's just, I love the sound of it. It just, oh God, I can't explain it, but it's just lovely. Just give this a listen. You see what I mean? It's like, it is amazing. Before actually being on the internet fully, and before making the Wonders of Sodor video, I wasn't actually aware of how many people really liked Lady. And after going online and seeing all the comments in that video agreeing with me wanting to add Lady to Wonders of Sodor, and then seeing a lot of the fan designs of her if she was still in the shows, like the CGI or even the All Engines Go, we won't talk about it, but seeing all of those designs and all of the toy designs, it just made me feel seen. People wanted Lady. But with that being said, I think we have come to the end of the story. And now it's time for everyone to go home. Just like Thomas.